Hey guys, it's SoFlo Josh and I'm over here at Toyota of South Dade to film this 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser for y'all. With that being said, let's go ahead and get out to the exterior and check out this bad boy. Now, I want to give a huge shout out to Toyota of South Dade, as well as Aspen and Esteban for allowing me to film this Land Cruiser for y'all. Make sure, if you are interested in Toyota, make sure to go ahead and contact them. With that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the Land Cruiser. Now, the Land Cruiser actually comes in 3 trims. The 1958, then there's this one, the Land Cruiser, and then there's the Land Cruiser First Edition. Now, I did do a video on the Land Cruiser First Edition where I did a complete walk around of the exterior and the interior and all the little things that you get with the First Edition compared to the other trims. And so today we're actually going to be focusing on the Land Cruiser trim and talk to you about all the differences that you can get on this compared to that. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Up over here at the front, the first thing that we will notice is that we have a rectangular style finish for the headlights. Now, 1958 and the First Edition actually comes with the 1958 round style headlight unit, which looks really nice, and it's super cool because, you know, it takes back to the heritage. But also this one goes back to one of the original Land Cruisers, and it's super nice. I like the overall design of it. We do have your nice LED projector lights up at the top, and over here off to the side you do have a turn signal that's full LED. Dropping it over here, we do have the ridge style finish for your fog lights. Let me actually show you what the turn signals and those fog lights look like. So to go ahead and turn on turn signal is very easy, and then pressing that button right there will actually turn on your fog lights. So over here you see you have your turn signal, and you can't see it too much, but it's actually yellow right now. The camera's not actually picking it up, which is unfortunate. It's probably just the lighting over here and in Homestead. But the styling looks very nice. I like the overall design of the headlight unit. And fun fact, you can actually go ahead and change these lights. So if you have the Land Cruiser and you want to change it to the 1958 headlight unit, you can actually do that. It's very simple. Just go to your dealership and you can actually order it, and they'll go ahead and install it for you, which is really cool. Getting over here to the front and center, we do have the Toyota logo and the heritage script, which is very nice. I like the overall styling. This front grille and everything is no different depending on the trim level you get, which is really nice. We do have a little bit of a nice kind of metallic flake finish to the grille up on the top, and it looks really nice. Dropping it over here down the middle, we actually have a 360 degrees camera that will help you whenever you are off-roading this Land Cruiser. I like the fact that we have it all the way down here instead of up here, which is really good because then you can get more visibility down whenever you are going over those rocks or those heavy terrains off-roading, which is really nice. Fun fact about this front end design is that Toyota actually designed it in such a way that, let's say for example, if you were to go ahead and mess up this corner section right here where it has some active air curtains to go around the wheel, interesting enough is that if you damage it enough, you can actually go to your local Toyota dealership and replace this whole section right here, as well as here, and you know, this other side section as well. Really cool that Toyota's engineers actually thought about that, because they know that people are actually going to off-road the Land Cruiser. So getting over here to the side, we do have these nice wide front fenders over here. As you can see, it looks really nice. This is also the windshield pearl color that we've seen on multiple Toyota, you know, TNGA F platform vehicles, and I think it looks fantastic. It looks really, really good in the sunlight. Sometimes, depending on the lighting, it actually looks a little bit silver, but you do have a nice metallic flake to it. We do have that same black plastic cladding all around the front fender well and the rear fender well, which is really nice. Dropping it over here, we do have 18-inch rims. They are wrapped around the Nitto Ridge grappler, which is going to be really good for off-roading. The tread is going to be great. You're going to be able to go over those rocks, which is fantastic. Over here you do have your side steps to get in and out of the vehicle, and you have a nice gloss black mirror cap over here. Very large mirror cap, I will say. It's a very, very large, like the overall design of it. Do have LED lighting right there as well, which is great. And then over here you do have your blind spot detection as well. black mirror cap, the black door handles right here as well for the front and the rear. And just look at this side profile. The overall side profile of the Land Cruiser looks fantastic. As you can see, it has a really nice, you know, angle. It's kind of higher up to the rear but lower in the front, and so it kind of gives it a nice kind of staggered look to it, you know, like it's pouncing on its prey kind of design from the side profile. You do have your roof rails up there on the top. They look fantastic, and I just love the overall side profile. Another interesting thing is that there is a design element that carries on from the hood that actually goes across the whole entire side profile off to the rear, and it actually just curves upward and then carries forward to the front window, which is really nice. Getting over here to the rear, as you can see, we do have full LED turn signals and LED lighting over here. You do have your reverse lights right here. Your turn signal is finished in a red style tone instead of the amber. I kind of wish that it was amber, but nonetheless, I understand why Toyota is doing it. Land Cruiser lettering right here, and then you have your Toyota script right here with your iForce Max logo right there as well. Black plastic cladding, like I was mentioning, up from the front over here to the rear. This is an off-road vehicle, so you would expect to have that. Now, if you want to go ahead and have more of like a different type of finish, then get a Lexus GX. The GX is basically the exact same vehicle as this. So over here at the rear, you do have your tow hook system right here off to the back. You have your exhaust tucked underneath there. You do have your connector pins right there for your tow trailer at the rear. And then before we get into the actual tailgate, which is actually power operated, we do have an opening for the rear window. Now, this is something we saw first with the Sequoia, and now we're actually seeing it with the Land Cruiser. The only vehicle to not get this with an SUV style is going to be the new 4Runner, the 6th generation 4Runner. But nonetheless, this is going to be great for people who are trying to go ahead and not open a tailgate and just wants to like put something in there. Maybe they have their groceries and they just don't want to open up the tailgate, which is going to be great for people who want to go ahead and do that. And closing is very straightforward, you know, very secured style. You know, Toyota, they're very secured. You do have your reverse camera right here, and you do have a spray nozzle to go ahead and clean that. Let's go ahead and open up the rear tailgate. As you see, it is power operated, so that means that you can be very easy, and it does have a little bit of a kickstand, so you can go ahead and open it and close it. Now, getting over here to the rear, as you see, you have a ton of space over here to the rear, and since the car is so high up, the roofline is so up and kind of boxy, you have a ton of headroom as well, so you'll be able to put objects in here that are standing, which is going to be really good. Now, as you see, we do have a all-weather floor mat right here, and then you also do have a compartment underneath there to go ahead and put anything you need to put, kind of like a first aid kit. I would totally recommend having that. You never know when a safety issue happens. Over here, you do have a 24-watt AC outlet right here, which is really nice to see. And then since we don't have the 3-row over here, and it's available in Europe and Japan, you actually do have some cup holders right here off to the back, USB type C's at the back as well. So that means if you are going to go camping, you can go ahead and drop those rear seats and you can actually have a whole camping area as well. Sitting over here to the back, getting over here, as you see, very, you know, comfortable. I feel like I can go ahead and actually put my back against the reclined seats here, and you can actually see a lot. So that means if you're gonna go to maybe your kids soccer game, you can actually go ahead and look out the rear, or even a tailgate. You know, when you go to like the Miami Dolphins or so on and so forth, you can go ahead and do that. We do have your subwoofer over here for that JBL speaker that we will talk about when we get into the main interior. But nonetheless, really, really nice wide space that we have over here in the rear. This is going to be great to add stuff and even go camping in this vehicle. So let's go ahead and get into the rear section right here. So opening the door, very straightforward, like the overall design. Let's go ahead and close the door so you can see. Very solid. Very, very, very solid design. Toyota is very known for making a solid put vehicles. Soft padding up here at the top. It's a nice faux soft tech design. If you were to get the first edition, you would actually have a first edition inscribed lettering right here, but with this Land Cruiser you don't get that at all, but it still has soft padding. This is the Java Softex interior design that we have here, so we're gonna have a nice color match to this windshield pearl, which is fantastic. But the overall design looks great. You have some pockets right here that you could put your drinks or snacks in, your window switch right here, and then you have your door handle. Getting into the vehicle is very straightforward. Put your foot there and then grab the grab handle. Let's go ahead and close the rear door. Very solid design. I have the seats right now reclined, as you can see. You can recline them, or if you want to, you can actually level them out to be straightforward. Let's go ahead and do that on this side so I can give you an absolute accurate how it feels. So sitting upright, I am 6 foot tall. Space wise, up in the top, I have about I want to say maybe 1.5 to 2 inches of headroom. So that's going to be great for people who are taller. So I would say probably somebody who's 6'3" or 6'5" will have a little bit of headroom situation. But all you need to do is just grab that grab handle on the side and you have even more headroom. So you're gonna be able to sit comfortably back here. And I have to say, it feels fantastic back here. These seats are very plush at the bottom, very soft design. I feel very comfortable. It even feels better than my couch at home. So just keep that in mind. Back here, legroom space, I would say this is how exactly I would sit. I have about maybe 1.5 inches of legroom space, so just keep that in mind. My feet are not being crushed. It's a little bit there. I have it all the way sitting down, but you can see I have a ton of play in the rear legroom area over here. Land Cruiser inscribed right here as well, and you do have your tri-zone climate control right here as well, so you can go ahead and increase this fan speed. We do have 2 USB type C's down here with a 12-volt socket right there as well. But overall, the rear occupant area feels fantastic. Now if you're wondering where the vents are, we actually have the vents up here on the roof, which is fantastic, because if you think about it, having kids back here, and especially in a baby seat, this is going to be great for them, because when car makers actually put their vents right here, what happens is that there's no air coming towards the kids. So just think about that. Having vents up here is far better. I hope that other automakers start doing that, and Toyota starts to evaluate putting the air vents up on the roof, which is, I think it's probably the best option to go ahead and do. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and get into the front section. Getting out is very straightforward. I love getting into a car instead of sitting down into a car, so this is probably my choice of preference. So getting over here to the front, let's go ahead and close the door really quick. Very solid design, put together, door. They just know how to make their vehicles. Softex up here at the top as well, nice soft padding, and then you have that nice Java design right here with the faux stitching as well. Window switch gears, your door handle, and then you have more areas to put some stuff in. Here is the seats that we see here. It is still covered up because the vehicle just got here actually, and these are power seats, so you're going to be able to go ahead and move them forward, tilt them back, and you do have lumbar control, which is really good to see. Let's go ahead and get into the interior, and getting in is the same thing. Grab that grab handle and you can actually get into the vehicle. Let's go ahead and turn off that turn signal, and let's go ahead and talk about the overall design of this interior. Now right here we have two 12.3 inch digital gauge cluster and a 12.3 inch touchscreen display, English or Spanish. As you see, you do have a nice design to the top section right here with some soft foam padding as well. But if I have to say, I like this overall design layout compared to what we see in the Tacoma and the new 4Runner, where the touchscreen is actually just tacked on. The way that this just wraps around the both screens, I think it just looks far more put together than an afterthought like what we see in the 4Runner and the Tacoma. But nonetheless, right over here we have your traditional steering wheel, which is actually kind of quite unique to the 4Runner. As you see, Toyota badging inscribed there as well. You do have all your button layouts to control your digital gauge cluster, and then you have your cruise control. You can also have the active cruise control where you take your hands off of the steering wheel and it will steer you around corners and so on and so forth. So really nice. I like the overall feeling of the steering wheel. It's not too thick around the 9-3 grip, which is quite fine for me. You know, some cars I do like it, some cars I don't. For this car, it's not necessary to have, you know, really grippy style 9-3 grip. You do have your switch gear for your turn signals, as well as your high beam assist, and then so on and so forth, and then your windshield wiper blades as well. I like these vent designs as well. As you can see, they're more rectangular here in the middle, and then you over here off to the side, you have more of a circular design to it as well. But everything looks great. Dropping it over here to the side, as you can see, you do have some buttons for your whole entire safety to be turned off completely, the brightness of your displays, your AC 12 volt 120 volt right there, and then your rear opening tailgate, as well as your fuel door opener, and then you have your tow haul mode right here as well. Really nice. Like everything that we see here. As you can see, I'm going to go ahead and pick English even though I speak Spanish. But nice soft padding right here as well. This is going to be great for, you know, putting your hand and resting it, and if you need to go ahead and activate your phone or so on and so forth, this is going to be absolutely great to go ahead and use the infotainment screen over here. You have your shifter right here, which is really good, very straightforward to go ahead and put into drive. Putting in reverse, as you can see, we do have 360 degrees camera, and you do have trajectory for that rear backup assist. Now you could change the overall design of the camera at the rear, where you can have more of a fisheye lens, or you can go ahead and change it to more of like a perspective straight off the back, which is really good to see. Putting it in park, straightforward. You have your whole entire climate control functions right here. We have physical buttons. Thank you, Toyota, for continuing to offer physical buttons in a day and age where everything is just put into the infotainment screen. BMW. Anyways, you do have your heated seats over here, and you're ventilated. I believe you cannot go ahead and actually have both of them on, which is kind of quite normal in the industry. You do also have your temperature control and everything and so forth for your climate control. Down here you actually have a camera view system, which will go ahead and do a whole entire surround view of your vehicle. Now this does use that 360 degrees camera. As you saw, we have one up at the front, two at the side, and then one at the rear. So very straightforward. You can go ahead and also change it into the egg mode, as most people call it in the industry, and you can actually pause it as to where you want to have it whenever you are wanting to look to see maybe, hey, there's a curve right there, let me go ahead and pause it really quick to see if I'm actually going to hit it. 3 USB type C's over here, 1 for your media control, and then 2 for charging. Then you have your mode select over here. So we actually have eco, normal, and then sport. So that's the main drive modes. And then putting it into MTS, when we do that, we can actually go ahead and get more modes. So this is going to be auto. We have dirt, sand, mud, and then deep snow. So just keep that in mind. You have that button where you can go ahead and change it off, or you can just have the drive modes. Really nice to see that Toyota's giving you that. You have your DAC crawl control system right there, emergency park, auto hold, traction control off, your center lock and differential, and your rear lock and differential with your sway bar disconnect right there. This is a full-time all-wheel drive system, so you can go ahead and press down and then put into low 4, and it will automatically do it. So really nice to see that Toyota actually does that. 2 cup holders over here off to the side, nice large bin over here as well to put your phone. And if you open this, you do have a large center console. Now on the first edition, you actually get standard the cool box, so you will have a refrigerator box up here in the front, so you could put your drinks or maybe the baby milk for your kids. But everything feels really nice and solid put together. You know, nothing creaks in here at all. The only creaking you're probably going to be hearing is this for the seats, but everything feels very solid, Nice soft padding everywhere around this vehicle. Opening up over here at the glove compartment, as you can see, we do have it damped, but it's not lined with felt, which I've been seeing that a lot lately within the cars that are currently I've been reviewing. They have damp, but they're not lined with felt anymore. I don't know if that's something that they're trying to get rid of. Maybe there's an issue with it, but nonetheless, that's something I have noticed. Cool little detail here. You could see you have this little strap design that goes around the side over here. Very nice element to the design, and I like the way that we have different things going on. You know, we have these different vents that are different here. The soft padding that's here is actually different than the foam that we see up here in the top. Everything feels fantastic. Over here you have your rear view mirror. If you were to get the first edition, you can actually switch it up, and you do have a rear camera that pops up over here that will take off. Like basically, if somebody was sitting back here and you can't see out the rear, you can just do that and it will activate. Over here you have your mirrors as well. Hello, how you doing? And they are LED lighting. Mics up here at the top, and then you have all your gears to go ahead and, you know, put the lights on if you need to, all the door lights. SOS button right there, and if we did have the sunroof, the button right here layout would actually be right there to go ahead and activate that sunroof. Let's go ahead and get out to the exterior really quick, and let's talk about what's underneath the hood, which I'm sure most of you know what's underneath the hood. So with this Land Cruiser compared to the last one, this is the 250 series. So this is what we see in Europe, the Prado one. So this one has a 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with a hybrid powertrain at the rear that actually makes 326 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque, mated to an 8-speed automatic. Now, that electric motor is actually housed between the engine and the transmission. So you're gonna get the ultimum amount of torque straight off the bat when you launch it from a dig, which is really good to see. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this vehicle and take it out for a drive in the lot. All right, setting out on a drive. Let's go ahead and put it into drive, and automatically the emergency brake system will go ahead and deactivate. Let's go ahead and turn the vehicle. Let's see it go ahead and see how it has the turning radius. Now, this is a very big vehicle, so more than likely it will not. Actually, it's doing pretty good. That car right there, and as you can see, when we go over here, you are gonna probably hit the other vehicle. So the turning radius isn't the greatest, but that's kind of normal. This is a really large body on frame vehicle, kind of the same turning radius as what you would find in the Tacoma, and more than likely in the new 4Runner. So let's go ahead and take this vehicle off for a drive. Let's floor it a little bit. As you see, nice amount of torque straight off the bat from this 2.4 liter turbocharged engine. Now, I have to say, I am very impressed with the 2.4 that we saw in the Tacoma, the non-hybrid, and even this one. Like, let's go ahead and throw it into sport mode really quick, and let's go ahead and see how it feels. Straight off the fact, that torque, oh my god, it feels fantastic, and the brakes actually feel really good. They have a lot of bite from the very back of when you're pressing on the brake, so just keep that in mind. But it feels great, and you know, driving it around over here feels good, and the balance, there is a little bit of body roll when you are, you know, turning it, but that's kind of quite normal because it is a heavy vehicle as well. One interesting thing, since we do have the tow hitch at the rear, we actually get 6,000 pounds of towing, which is going to be great. And this car just hauls. Let me tell you something, that electric motor that is housed between the transmission and the engine feels fantastic, and I have to say, I am extremely impressed with how this vehicle feels all in all. Look at that pickup. That pickup is insane. It's just instant torque. That 465 pound-feet of torque, Jesus, man. And it does have regenerative braking, so that will go ahead and go back into the electric motor at the rear, I mean over here in the front. So that means that you'll be able to have optimal amount of you know, battery as well whenever you're driving it. but I have to say this feels fantastic. Road presence, I see everything out. I love the bulges that we see on the hood over here to the front and the side area, and in that middle section you can see, let me go ahead and stop really quick. As you can see, you have a large amount of space that you could see and direct yourself where you want to go off-roading. But it feels fantastic. I mean, visibility feels great out the rear, out the sides over here on the rear view side mirrors. And I have to say, I do like the fact that we have these large mirrors. Instead of like the more horizontally style finish to it, I actually like these better. They look fantastic, and they actually give a lot of visibility off to the side, believe it or not. And this steering feeling actually feels really good. I just turned it with just using my finger. Look at that. That's incredible. This is fantastic, man. I have to say, really good job to Toyota for producing such a fantastic product. I think that they are nailing it with their TNG AF platforms. The Sequoia looks fantastic. The Tundra looks great. I also have to say the Tacoma and the 4Runner look great. So I think that they are just killing it with all these products that are you know, made and designed over here by Toyota. The Calty Design. Calty Design does a fantastic job. Let's go ahead and put it into park, and let's go ahead and give you my final thoughts of the vehicle. All right, so now we're out here in the lot, and I have to give you my final impressions. Now, how do I feel about the Land Cruiser? Now, I know it was just a short drive, but I think that it's a fantastic vehicle. And the reason why I say that is because the suspension of this vehicle feels fantastic. I know it's an off-road capable vehicle. We do have off-road suspension and everything, but even on this pavement over here, this nice flat pavement, because Florida is usually typically flat, it feels very soft. It doesn't feel too jittery to the point where, hey, you know, I'm kind of getting like seasick, you know, when you're in a boat and it's kind of rocky. No, we have a nice soft suspension up at the front, nice soft suspension up at the rear, and it just flows so good around this road over here. Now, of course, I can't take this vehicle off-roading. If you ever are interested in looking at off-roading vehicles, I would recommend looking at videos of journalists that went out to drive the Land Cruiser. But on-road present wise, it feels great. The suspension, these wheels are amazing. The seats feel fantastic. These Java Softex design over here, they're like a faux kind of leather design. I think it feels great. They hug you really good around the bolstering area as well. Not so much the thigh section, which is kind of, you know, typical, but the, you know, the torso area actually has some nice bolstering. Steering wise feels great, and the visibility out the front is fantastic. I love the screen design. It just looks fantastically put together. The styling, the soft points and everything and so on and so forth feels great. Engine wise, I think that the 2.4 liter with the hybrid engine is actually the best thing that Toyota did for the Land Cruiser. Now, I know that some people are diehard last generation, the Land Cruiser, I believe it was the 300 series that had that V8 underneath the hood. I have to say, I mean, yeah, it's a V8, it's great and everything like that, but think about it for a second. This makes more torque than that V8 did, and you're also going to get even better economy whenever you are driving it. So think about that for a second. I think the highlight of it for me is that electric motor in between the engine and the transmission. It's instant torque, so that means that when you put it from a dig, you're gonna get an instant 465 pound-feet of torque from the dig. And that's even when you're doing a normal driving in sport mode, or you put the transmission in sport mode, it's gonna be instant torque, which is fantastic. Also, I will note, one thing I love about this vehicle as well is that we have a ton of cargo space off at the back, and especially having a power tailgate as well. I just like that we have so much space at the rear. This is going to be great for, you know, throwing those seats back and, you know, putting a large TV or putting some stuff in to go tailgating or go to your kids' soccer game and so on and so forth. this is going to be great for those people who like to do things like that, and I think it's a fantastic product. And also another thing that I really like is the fact that we have an actual glass that opens up, and that Toyota didn't just eliminate it altogether, you know, because that's one thing that I know the last generation had a roll down part, but seeing that we have this now that's kind of similar to what we saw in the Sequoia, I actually prefer this than what the previous Land Cruiser actually had. 4Runner wise, I mean, I kind of like the whole entire rear window going down. But would I recommend this vehicle? 100%. I think it's a fantastic looking vehicle. You're gonna get great economy. You're gonna have that off-road unique style too. The Land Cruiser is gonna be one of those vehicles gonna be very unique to see on the road. I have yet to see one on the road. Now I am on the Reddit forums, and I have seen a lot of people buying the Land Cruiser at their local dealerships. Even 1958 models. People are buying the 1958 models, which is awesome. With that being said, I want to give a huge shout out once again to Toyota of South Dade, and as well as Asper, for allowing me to film this Land Cruiser. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.